Okay, good evening and welcome to the Leadership Call. My name's Patrick Tulloch, and I'm going to be in a position here to share some great information with you with regards to this amazing industry of network marketing and, rising to the top. That's what it really comes down to. How can you get to where you want to be? And so, there's a journey that we're all involved with when it comes to this amazing industry. And, as you can see by the graphic here, there's a flight of stairs as a journey ahead. So the question is, just lost my screen for a second here, how do you get to the top? And, I've gone through this journey. I continue to go through this journey, and I don't think there's anybody who can really take a shortcut to getting to where they want to be. We've all started, from the same point, the same beginning, and we've all had to endure through the different experiences that we've been exposed to in order to achieve greatness in this amazing industry. So if you want to get to the top, then there's some duplication that needs to be completed, that needs to be continually processed on a daily basis. There's no shortcut. There's a time frame. That time frame can be minimal or it can be lengthy, and that really comes down to you. It comes down to your time. So the thing that I think is first and foremost when it comes to achieving success in this industry is really taking a look at something that we have all heard about, and that is goals and the value of goals. And throughout this presentation, I really want to hit on a few key points. I'm not going to get into the real details, the nitty-gritty. I think that's something that you can do with your mentor or your business partner, and they can guide you into the areas that you need to really focus on. But, the first thing is that you have to take a look at your short-term and your long-term goals. Very, very important. And obviously, as you can see, if you're on the webinar here, there's a multitude of different goals that we can talk about. What I want to say to you is that you've got your personal goals, which revolve around, or personal goals in general, which could be something that you enjoy doing yourself, that you want to be able to implement in your life in a very short period of time here, or maybe it's down the road. You can also look at your family. The kinds of activities, the kinds of events that you'd like to be able to do with your family on a consistent basis that you're not doing today. One of the great things might be travel. 2013 is just about to pass, and I guess the question I would ask you is, how many of you have traveled throughout the year 2013? Were you able to get away, take that vacation, that week, that 2 weeks, and not have to worry about the financial expense of having to travel? If you didn't plan anything for 2013, the reason why you didn't travel is because you didn't have a plan. You didn't have a goal in place. So what I suggest is to implement that plan for 2014. Develop that goal. Have it, see it, feel it, and you know what? Everything else will take care of itself as a result of you planting the seeds to be able to manifest those goals in your life. And so financial is another area. Obviously, we want to maintain the income and the lifestyle that we're accustomed to, or the income and the lifestyle that we would like to become accustomed to. So again, goals, extremely important. Without goals, you're just going to go around in circles. So the other thing is education. We always want to focus on getting better. We want to improve. We want to be able to take others with us in this industry. So, when we get better, others will be able to improve their lifestyle also, because, we're going to be in a position where we can share things with them. Now, one of the things that I've shared in the past is that one of the great things is to be in a position of strength rather than a position of weakness. Now, a position of strength can be having the right attitude. All right, you've got the right attitude. There might be some other things in your life that really aren't in the right place at this time. So what I want to do is I just want to give you an example of a couple of individuals who had goals. They maybe weren't in a position of strength from, having all of the things in place. They didn't have all the money in place. They didn't have all the contacts in place. They just were in a position of weakness, but they had the right attitude. And that's what drove them to being the success that they became. So the first example is J.K. Rowling. And, some of you are familiar with that name. She is the author of the Harry Potter books. And so we all know the kind of success that has become globally, not just locally, but globally, because we're in a global economy today. And, when she started out, she was penniless. She was recently divorced, raising a child on her own. Now, do you think she might have had a few distractions to dissuade her from pursuing her goal of writing this book and getting it published? Well, she had a few other challenges along the way. She was rejected 12 times by publishers. Now, if that wasn't enough to say, I'm just going to pack up, I'm going to go home, I'm going to get myself a regular job, and I'm going to forget this dream that I have of getting my book published. There's nothing worse than somebody telling you that, people aren't interested in kids' books anymore or anything of that nature. There's always somebody who's going to try and dissuade you from achieving your goals. So you got to stay on track. So that's one perfect example. Coming from a position of weakness in a number of areas, but the attitude was a position of strength. Another perfect example is Colonel Sanders. And we all know Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now check this out. Here's a gentleman who started his dream, started his goal at the age of 65. At the age of 65. Now, was he in a position of strength or a position of weakness? Well, to most of us, if we were looking at it from the outside in, he was in a position of weakness. But you know what? He was in a position of strength because he had the right attitude. Even though at the time his security check was about $105 a month, and he wasn't too happy about that. But let me tell you what this man did very quickly. He drove around, and he actually slept in his car while knocking on doors trying to get somebody to take on his recipe. Well, do you know how many doors he knocked on before he got his first yes? Take a guess. Well, he knocked on 1,009 doors. 1,009 doors before he got his first yes. So, the beautiful thing is, J.K. Rowling and Colonel Sanders are just like you and me. They've just had more no's than we have. So, that's a beautiful thing. There's opportunity here for everybody. So just don't quit. Then the next thing we're going to touch on, this is something I think that is extremely important, is vision. And, what vision really comes down to is really seeing yourself where you want to be before you arrive. The sky is the limit. There are no limitations. And what you need to do is, here's a question for you. This is kind of a little bit of an interactive, but unfortunately there's no verbal here. But the thing I would say to you is, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years from now? All right? Now, it's not something that we can touch, but we can visualize it. We can see it. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years from now? It's a good question, and I think you can have some fun with that answer. Let me give you an example of vision. At least I put it in the classification of vision. And this has to do with Ted Turner. Now, Ted Turner was a billionaire, very successful entrepreneur, And he's had some great success. His family started out in the billboard business, selling billboard advertising. They had a lot of success there. He sold that, and then he had a vision. He had a vision that he wanted to start the very first 24-hour all-news TV station. 24 hours, all news. And you're all familiar pretty well, I'm sure, with this station. We know it as CNN. CNN is the cable news network. And so he had that vision, and I guarantee you there were many individuals who felt that what he was trying to do would never work. And he had a vision. He had a vision that, for the first 10 years, this business did not turn a profit. But he kept on. This particular station, CNN, was the first TV station to broadcast the Iraqi war live. You remember those pictures, those visions that we saw on our screen came from CNN. So again, here's a man who had a vision, 10 years, and so we need to do the same thing. If you're on this call, you're looking at this industry, you're in this industry, what is your vision? You got to have a clear picture of what you want. So what do you see for yourself in a year from now in your business? And where will you be living? Let me just ask you, where will you be living in 5 years from now? Are you going to be living in the same home, the same apartment, or are you looking at moving up the ladder? Or what will your income be in the next 5 years from now? What is your vision? What do you see for yourself? All right, so it's very important. One of the things that one of my mentors shared with me years ago in another company that I was actively involved with, the quote was, when the vision is clear, the journey is much easier. Next, we're going to move on to another area that I really believe is extremely important, and that is commitment. And what is commitment? Commitment is doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the feeling has left you. And I can tell you the truth. I have personally had moments of not having the right mindset. I wasn't feeling good about something, didn't want to do it, but I did it anyhow. I did what I had to do in order to move my business forward. And sometimes it's kind of interesting in this industry and life in general is that, we expect things to happen and we disappoint ourselves because nothing happens at that particular point in time. And then as long as we stay focused, we stay committed, there are times where we aren't expecting something to happen, and then all of a sudden great things are happening. Great things are coming across our path. So that's why you just want to remain committed, and you want to remain consistent. And, again, I've been very fortunate to have been mentored by some of the great leaders here in this industry. And, one of the simple things that was mentioned to me years ago was that you want to have a no-quit attitude. No-quit attitude. No matter what comes your way, you're going to have distractions. You're going to have people or situations that come across your life, your path, and you might get off track, but you just don't quit. You just got to get back on track. And so as you involve yourself in this industry and you're making that commitment, you want to invest your time in learning all the essentials in your business. Learn the business, learn the trade, become the best that you can possibly be. Plumbers do it, lawyers do it, athletes do it. They make a commitment. It's not a 40% effort. It's not a 60% effort. It's 100% plus in most cases. All right. There are athletes who, should never be where they are today, but they're at the professional levels because of the commitment and the desire that they've, invested to become the best that they could possibly be. They were teachable. Very, very important. So what you want to be able to do in this industry of network marketing is you want to be able to learn about your compensation plan, learn about the flagship products, learn about the marketing strategy, learn about the industry. And, when you do this once, the beautiful thing is it's not you don't have to go back to school. It's like you learn while you earn an income. And so it's a great opportunity to be able to leverage yourself. And again, it's all based on your time commitment. So if that's 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, you put together a plan of action that's going to work for you. So we're going to move on to the next area. This area is repetition. Again, if you're on the webinar, you're going to notice there's a picture of Serena Williams hitting a tennis ball. And, the thing I say about repetition, is the mother of skill. Repetition is about doing it over and over and over again until you get it right. Okay? It's just, no matter what it is, hitting that tennis ball, shooting a basketball, learning about, this business, learning about the industry, do it over and over and over again. When I started in this business, it was about telling stories. And, there were a number of stories that I heard about, people who were getting great results with the product, people who were getting great results with the business. And unfortunately, I didn't have a story at the time. The story that I used was my mother's story because she had some great results with Premium Noni, a product in our business that was amazing. She got results. So I was telling her story, and that was how I got started. Until you have your own story, you can tell somebody else's story, but you know what? You can tell it over and over and over again because that's the message that you need to convey. So, it's a learning process. So you tell your story, then you can tell the company story. You'll learn more about the company and how long the company's been in business and how they got started, and maybe there were some challenges they had, how they overcame those challenges, where they are today, where they see themselves in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years from now, because people want to hear the message. So the more people that you will talk to over time, the better you will get. You're going to improve. And one of the things that I've always valued was the opportunity of being able to do calls with my mentors, some of the top income earners here with NHT Global, was to be able to listen to them converse with a prospect, somebody who was interested in getting involved in our business. Because you know what? They're good at what they do. They're the top income earners, and they're there for a reason. So if you can duplicate that process and just listen and get them involved in your business, your mentors, get them involved in your business as much as possible and learn as much as possible, repetition will make all the difference in your business over time. So repetition, very important. Okay, we're winding down here slowly but surely, but we've got something that I think is very important, and it really revolves around personal development. And if you're on the presentation, on the webinar here, you can see personal development encompasses a number of different areas. Obviously, we're not going to get into the details of each area, but for some of you who may not be on the webinar, you're on the call here, we're talking about dreams. We're talking about quality of life. We're talking about aspirations. We're talking about identity. We're talking about talents, your potential. We're just talking about a number of things that are so important when it comes to your journey, because where you begin is not, the person that you start out as is not the person that you're going to end up as, because of the personal growth that you are going through. So the questions that I have for you, for example, just to get you thinking about where you're at as far as personal development, is that if you're in this industry of network marketing, you're looking at getting involved in the industry, what value are you bringing to the business? What value are you bringing to the table? Some of us, we've got some amazing strengths. And so what we need to do is focus on those strengths. Some of us, we have weaknesses. So we need to build on those weaknesses. And I can tell you this, that it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter whether they're the top income earner in their company today. They came to the table with strengths, and they came to the table with weaknesses, and they worked on themselves over and over and over again, and that's why they are where they are today. So who are you listening to, or what are you listening to? What are you reading? If you like to read, then, what are you reading? How often are you reading on a daily basis? I mean, this is all what's going to get you to the top over time. It's not overnight. Remember the staircase. You take one step at a time. You might take 5 steps, and then you have to take one back, but it works over time. And then again, it's also about how much time are you investing in you on a daily basis. How much time are you investing in you? Obviously, there's no great value in sitting around the boob tube. Doesn't pay you a whole lot of money, but I guarantee you personal development, it'll make all the difference in your life. And there was one thing that my mentor shared with me. I always remember little nuggets. And he said to me that, Pat, he said, what makes a difference in your business is when people can hear the music in your voice when you talk. People hear the music in your voice when you talk because they hear the energy, they hear the passion, they hear the truth, and, people want to know what it is that you've got that they might like to be a part of. So these things are very, very important. So ultimately, the question that I would ask you, whether you've been in the industry for some time or you're just getting started, are you on the path? Where are you growing? All right, very important. Are you growing? Another quick quote here from one of my mentors a number of years ago. Some of the things that I remember, because for some reason I'm supposed to remember it, but it says, when you are ripe, you rot. When you are green, you are growing. When you are ripe, you rot. When you are green, you are growing. All right, very, very important. Very, very important. Okay, action. Action. It's just like being in the movies. And the director says, action, and boom, here you go. People may doubt what you say, but they will believe what you do. And I love it because I really believe it. You can talk the talk, but if you're not doing anything, you're not getting the results, and people are just going to kind of be standing there watching you. So, when we talk about action in this amazing industry, it comes down to how many people will you talk to in your business on a weekly basis. And it could be about the product, right? It could be about the business opportunity. So obviously you need to be using the product so that you can tell your story. You need to be learning about the business model so that one day, you can do the business opportunity yourself, or you're going to get somebody else to work with you to share the business opportunity. That's what mentors are for. They will help you. Action. This is probably one of the keys, I think, to taking the right steps in your business. And this is an example where I've seen over the years, people may not be in a position financially to get started in their business. They love the business, they love the products, they love the opportunity and everything else, but they simply don't have the money to get started. Well, let me tell you this. Action is by, thinking like an entrepreneur. You need to think like an entrepreneur. So how does an entrepreneur think? They see an opportunity. What they're going to do is find a way to be able to put together the funds to get started in their business. Now, it may not happen in a week. It may take you 2 months. It may take you 3 months. It may take you 5 months. But the important point that I want to make here is that you need to get into the right mindset. You need to have a belief level that allows you to begin the process where you have a plan in place. you set a goal for yourself, and you're going to work towards it. Because I can tell you this, if you don't do that, nothing's going to change. Everything's going to stay the same. I can tell you, I personally have had one gentleman who I've worked with. He took about close to a year to get started in the business. Why? Because he believed in the industry, he believed in the company, he believed in me as an individual, and he's in this business today, still works this business consistently, and you know what? It's because he took action. So the thing I'll ask you now, again, is with regards to action, you're just getting started in the business. When will you do your first product demo, for example? Or when will you do your first business presentation? Set out some goals, take action. And what is the date that you have set for introducing your new distributors into the business? So, you're excited about the business, set a goal, set a date, take action, and work towards it. That's how you're going to get the results. And then there may be some other things that you have available to you in your business that might revolve around the incentive programs. Okay, you may have incentive programs in your business. Well, look at those incentive programs and look at the levels. Look where you're at today and where do you want to be in those incentive programs. So whether it's a trip, whether it's some type of a product premium incentive that you're going to receive and you're going to be recognized globally, take the action, and that's how you're going to get the results. All right, so what I've shared with you here this evening is what I've personally gone through, what I continue to go through, and I'm extremely excited and thankful for the opportunity to share with you how you can rise to the top in your network marketing career. You can become a network marketing professional. So to receive some more of my trainings, please subscribe to my YouTube channel here. And again, I'd like to thank you all for joining me here this evening on training, Rising to the Top in Network Marketing. My name is Patrick Tulloch, signing off from beautiful Toronto, Canada. Good night.
Awesome, Patrick.
Thank you, Joe.